All right, sweet. Flatline MMA podcast episode number 47. Look who's here. Zach's back. We had to bring him in because we have an absolute fire card slated for this weekend. UFC Vegas 11. Boys, I'm excited for this one. Let's just rewind real quick. Last Saturday night, UFC Vegas 10. Let's just go over main event real quick. Michelle Waterson, Angela Hill, 5-round slugfest. Honestly, didn't have too much expectation with this one, to be honest. I figured this was going to be kind of a Angela Hill show, right? She kind of got robbed in her last fight. I figured it was going to be kind of a dominating performance by her. Michelle Waterson getting it done via decision. I know it was a split. I know it could have went either way, but the fight was great. It was entertaining. It was a slugfest. Did you guys agree with the decision there?
Yeah, it definitely could have went either way because, Hill just put so much more damage on Waterson. Like, she had that big egg on the side of her head. She bleeding from her nose. Waterson definitely looked a lot more beat up by the end of the fight. But I think, third through fifth were pretty much Waterson's rounds. She had, a couple takedowns that were pretty good for her. And Angela Hill kind of slowed down. She didn't look like she was gassing or anything, but her output kind of went down, went back up in the fifth round. But I think I agree with the decision. Waterson winning.
Yeah, I know. Looking at Twitter, all that stuff, I know, you had the majority of people agreeing with it. Then you had, the diehard Angela Hill fans going at it because she had, had a couple 2-3 marks on her face, but nothing crazy. Kind of like, again, in her last fight where, she didn't really have any marks on her face, any bruises, and she didn't get the decision nod. So I know she posted something, but I think she kind of accepted this one. So I think this was a big fight for both of them just because they were coming off of Angela Hill, both of losses. So I think there was a fight that, needed to be proved, and I think it did deliver. A lot of people are happy with it. Some other great performances on there. We had Ottman Azatar, knocking out Karma Worthy in the first. Great performance there. We had guys, Bobby Green, another great win for him. That's multiple fights for him in 2020. So overall, UFC Vegas 10 definitely thought it delivered. Definitely thought it was a great card there. I know we had a little bit of that controversy in the Ed Herman, Mike Rodriguez fight. Dana was going off about that one. But I think other than that, card went pretty smooth. So let's kind of move forward. UFC Vegas 11. This main card is absolutely stacked, headlined by welterweight grudge match, Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley. Let's get started at the top of the main card here. We got a middleweight bout, Kevin Holland taking on Darren Stewart. We got two guys that, they both got power. They're both quick. They're both kind of, rising stars within this division. You take a look at a guy like Kevin Holland, right? He was a Contender Series guy. And he's fought, I think, 7 times since then. He went on a little run, 3-fight win streak. Then he had that loss to Brendan Allen. Now he's on a 2-fight win streak again. So he's looking to kind of continue that streak. And then you got Darren Stewart, a.k.a. the Dentist. He's someone else. He was a Ultimate Fighter guy. Again, went on a 2-fight win streak. Had that loss back in March to Barbosz Fabrinsky. I don't even know how to say his name. And then he was able to pick up another win recently in August to Maki Pitolo. So he's looking again to extend his streak here. But you got two explosive guys. So what do you guys think about this matchup right here?
Yeah, it's a fun one to kick off the card. I remember watching Kevin Holland fight in his very first, I think it was his first UFC fight against Thiago Santos, which is a crazy fight to walk into. So, I've kind of been a fan of his since, so I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah, Zach, who are you taking this one?
Honestly, I don't know who to pick, but do you think the winner of this cracks the top 15?
Yeah, I would
ranked, right?
Yeah, I would think so. If you take a look at kind of the rankings right now in middleweight, obviously things are kind of about to play out next weekend because we got Izzy taking on Paulo Costa, right? And then let me just take a look at the rankings. Yeah, because if you look at really where things are, you got Ian Heinisch, who scored a win over one of the guys fighting later, who we'll talk about, Gerald Michart, right? So I think these guys are in the mix. Maybe won't crack the top 15, but I think maybe another fight away from cracking it, because you got two guys, they definitely have some hype behind them. But this is a big fight. Kevin Holland's obviously a big personality. He's someone in there. He's joking around. He's yelling. He's screaming. So he's definitely going to bring the fans, and I think this is going to be a good one. But, yeah, I think,
The middleweight could use that new blood.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's, they might not crack the top 15 here, but it's definitely going to give them a bigger fight next, which is definitely going to bring them into the top 15 in that next fight. So I'm going to go – I like Holland in this one too. I think he's explosive. He's fun to watch. I think he's kind of that new breed coming into middleweight, so I'd love to see him get a win there. So Holland, Stewart to kick off the main card. That's going to be a fun one. Don't miss that. That could be fight of the night potential. Next, we have a women's strawweight bout. We got Mackenzie Dern taking on Randa Marcos. So taking a look at kind of Mackenzie Dern here, right? Her, UFC career was doing pretty good. She kind of ran into Amanda Ribas, and then she ended up really coming back with a dominant submission over Hannah Cyphers back in May. So already one fight under her belt in 2020. Here she comes back taking on Randa Marcos, who's coming off of a loss to Amanda Ribas. So both of these girls have one thing in common. They couldn't beat Ribas. Honestly, I don't know too much about Marcos, which is why I'm just going to go Dern on this. I think she's too dangerous on the ground, to be honest. So I think that's going to be her game plan for this one. I think she wants to take it to the ground, quick submission, and then on to the next one. So really quick answer there, but I'm going to take Dern submission round 2. Boom. Kev, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines of thinking. Don't know a ton about Marcos, but I know Dern's jiu-jitsu games just on a different level for most fighters. Her only loss has been a decision loss. So I think I'm going to go Dern submission.
Zach, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever actually seen Randa Marcos fight, and she's fought a bunch of the people that I've heard their names before, but I've never seen her fight. So I'll pick Dern. I think even if Dern can't take her down, she'll probably be able to manage standing up. So I think Mackenzie on that one.
Yeah, we'll see.
She makes weight. I don't think she had a problem last time, right? But
no, she did good last time, but yeah, definitely that was a problem in the beginning of her UFC career. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see on Friday morning if she able to make weight. But yeah, another fun one to kind of kick off the main card there. Women's strawweight bout. Next, light heavyweight bout. We got Johnny Walker returning, taking on Ryan Spann. Johnny Walker, obviously coming off kind of a 2-fight skid for him. Back-to-back losses from Corey Anderson and Nikita Krylov. So he's definitely looking to come back in the win column. This is a kid who had all the hype in the world behind him. And, I think the UFC pushed him a little too fast. Corey Anderson kind of took his soul in that fight last November. And then he just didn't look the same in that Nikita Krylov fight. He just really couldn't pull the trigger like he normally did. He's crazy with his flying knees and all that stuff. So curious to see where his head's at. And I know his back's against the wall. So we're going to see, I think, probably the best Johnny Walker in there because, when you go on a 3-fight skid in the UFC, you don't know if you're coming back because Dana tends to cut people after that. So, and he's taking on a guy, Ryan Spann, who had a fight back in May here in 2020. Took on Sam Alvey, pretty, split decision performance, but he's someone coming off the Dana White Contender Series as well. Really kind of undefeated in the UFC right now. He's on a 4-fight win streak. So obviously win over Johnny Walker would be huge for him. But again, we saw a little bit of him in May. I thought he had a really good performance. Nothing crazy. Well, nothing special about him that I thought was, wow, this kid's going to be a star, but definitely tough. He took on a guy like Sam Alvey, who's tough to put away, and he got the split decision win. So what do you guys think of this matchup and kind of Johnny Walker returning on that 2-fight losing streak?
I think Johnny Walker is still so young in the sport that he has time to turn around. You know, two losses for him. I don't think it's a huge setback. He's still a draw. People still like to watch him fight. He's obviously got the skills too. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Johnny Walker on this one, just because even though he's probably not in too much danger of being cut by the UFC, it is going 0-3 in your last 3 fights is a pretty big deal. So
Yep.
I think this one's kind of do or die for him, and he'll probably bring that urgency to the fight.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed with his last fight. I mean, the Corey Anderson fight. I mean, he was rocked from the very beginning in the first round, and that was all she wrote. But the Krylov fight, man, I don't even know. He looked tired in the second and third round, and he wasn't like his same, like Don said, his same explosive self. I think that people like him, they're at their best when they're, aggressive and unpredictable, and that's how all his other fights were. So if he can channel that again and not be gun shy, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll come off with the win. I think when you get in your head that after getting knocked out, I think that affected his last performance. So I'm really hoping we see him, back to his crazy self with all this spinning shit, and that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I think if he does that, dude, I think he'll be fine. But if he's gun shy, he's gonna lose a decision, or even worse. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see that too. When he was getting, those crazy flying knee, spinning back fist knockouts, like that's what made him kind of the star that he was. And, I do agree. I think I wouldn't say that Corey Anderson was it was too rushed for him, but I think that, the level of opponent that he had there was just the experience was too much for him. You know what I mean? And I think, in that Nikita fight, we just saw he kind of did a little bit of the Tyron Woodley, right? Where he couldn't let his hands go. And he wasn't using his tools. He, like you said, it looked like he was gassed and his head just wasn't in it. And I think when you get knocked out like that and, you have so much hype behind you, it's definitely tough that next fight to come out and do what you're supposed to do. So, again, curious to see where his head's at. Obviously can't count out Ryan Spann. He's on a 4-fight win streak right now. So obviously he's tough as can be. So I'm excited for the return of Johnny Walker here. Hoping to get a W from him. I think he's going to get it done as well. I think we're going to see something crazy in there. Maybe some off the cage, just Anthony Pettis shit, which I think will be unreal. And we'll be drinking some Johnny Walker in honor of Johnny Walker. So let's fucking go. Next up, we got a matchup that I think a lot of people are very, very excited. And I think this is one you got to watch. If you're not going to watch this entire card, which you're an idiot if you don't, this is the one fight you need to watch. We have Khamzat Chimaev taking on Gerald Meerschaert. I don't even know if I said that right, but Chimaev, this is the kid right now who's got all the eyes on him. He came into the UFC. He took 2 fights on 10 days notice, getting them done quickly. Took out John Phillips via submission, and then took out Rise McKee TKO in the first round within 10 days. The whole world's talking about him. This kid's calling out McGregor. This kid's calling out Masvidal. Dana White loves him. What's, I think, cool about this fight, and what I think pissed a lot of people off, is that Dana White booked this fight, Chimaev versus Meerschaert, and then he booked Chimaev versus Damian Maia, I believe, in November or October. So that pissed off Meerschaert, being like, oh, they're already overlooking me, whatever. But, you take a look at Chimaev, 8-0, flawless, all finishes. This kid's an absolute monster. They're calling him Khabib 2.0. But you look at a guy like Gerald Meerschaert, he's fought everyone in the goddamn division. He's had his ups, he's had his downs, but, he's got some big wins. Darren Wynn, Tevin Giles, Eric Spicely, you know what I mean? Like, he's fought the who's who. And he's definitely a big step up in competition from Rice McKee, who Chimaev just fought. So I'm curious what you guys think about this matchup. And, does this matchup, if Chimaev wins this, is he kind of, in contention? Is he the real deal? Will people start respecting him more? Like, he's really the talk of fucking MMA right now because this kid's crazy what he does and the power he brings and the Khabib-like performances. So what do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, Chimaev, he's not a one-trick pony. He's got submissions. He's got a knockout on his record, and he's been completely dominant in the 2 fights that we've seen him. So I'm really excited to see him go against, Meerschaert here, just because, it is a step up in competition, and it's going to show if he is, as good as we think he is. So I'm going to go with Chimaev. Just from what I've seen, he's just a beast. I don't think I can bet against him.
I don't know, man. I gotta pick Meerschaert for the experience. Like the people he's fought. I mean, it's not the top. He's not fighting the top 10 of middleweight, but I just think that all the different fights he's had. I mean, he's fought Thiago Santos, probably the highest, and he's fought Hermanson. So I guess I should take that back. But like fighting those guys, I think being in the octagon, that gives you an edge over even a hot prospect like Maiev. So I'm going to go with experience here, but I hope I'm wrong because I'd love to see a guy just continue his fire streak, but I think I'm going to go with the veteran.
Yeah, and it's just interesting because you got a guy like Chimaev who's about to fight, this is going to be his 3rd fight here in 2020. And, Dana already has a fight booked with him for Damian Maia, right? I think it's really not confirmed yet, but once his hand gets raised or if his hands get raised on Saturday night, the contract's going to be signed. So, but it's just crazy that they have that much confidence in him. They think he's going to get it done quick. Chimaev says he's going to smash everybody, which is like chilling, like gives me goosebumps when I hear shit like that. That's like what Khabib says. And they're definitely cut from the same cloth there. They're just both friggin' animals. But again, I agree with you. You can't overlook Meerschaert because of the experience there. But I mean, what I've seen from Chimaev and his older highlights, this kid finishes fights. Like, he's not there to, lay on you for 3 or 5 rounds. He's going to come out. He's going to ground and pound you. He's going to submit you, or he's going to knock you out on the feet. Like Kev said, he's not this one-trick pony. Like, he's not just good at wrestling. He's not just good at boxing. This kid can box. This kid is great on the ground. This is insane. So he's definitely someone. Only being 8-0 and having this much hype behind you is absolutely ridiculous. But if he can get it done versus a vet like Meerschaert and then, quick turnaround again and then fight Maia and beat him, this kid's cracking the top 10 within the first year of fighting in the UFC, which is like unheard of. So obviously I'm rooting for him. I think, with Khabib kind of winding down his career, getting another kind of international star like this would just be huge for the UFC. So I'm going to go Chimaev on this one. I think he's going to have a dominating performance. I think he's going to get this done quick in the first round. You know what? I think he's going to get it done by TKO. I won't even say submission. So this is a fight. Do not miss this one because this is a rising hot prospect that you definitely don't want to miss because when he fights, he finishes. So that's a fun one. And then, guys, let's just get right to the co-main event here. We got this one, man. This is it. I'm locking this one in as fight of the night. I think someone might get hospitalized in this one. We got Donald Cowboy Cerrone taking on Nico Price. This is one, if you're a fight fan, I don't give a fuck that Donald Cerrone's on a 4-fight losing streak. You know what I mean? Donald Cerrone will fight 7 times a year. He doesn't give a shit. He'll fight back-to-back weekends, doesn't give a shit. What's great about this matchup is that Nico Price is the same way. Nico Price will fight anyone, anytime, anywhere, and he's taken on, the who's who too. He's taken on guys like Vicente Luque, James Vick, Jeff Neal, right? So this one is just going to be fun. Someone's getting hospitalized. I don't even want anyone to lose in this fight because I love both of these guys. So dive into these boys. We got Donald Cerrone on a 4-fight losing streak. We got Nico Price coming off a TKO loss to Vicente Luque back in May. Let's break down this fight. What do you guys think of this one?
This fight's happening at 170, right?
Yeah.
It must be.
This is going. Yeah, this is at welterweight. Yep.
I don't think Nico Price can make lightweight, can he?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
He's a monster.
I'm gonna say Price by knockout, round one.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
he's. I think once you see them in the octagon together, I think Nico Price is gonna be so much bigger than him. And Nico, he can take a beating. I don't see Cerrone knocking him out, and I think that Cerrone's probably not his only way to win, but I think that's his most probable way of winning this fight is
Yeah.
if he knocks Nico out. I don't think he can. I don't think he could last the whole 15 minutes in the cage with him, to be honest, at this point in his career.
All right. So you say knockout. Now, what kind of knockout is this going to be? Is this going to be a Nico Price just friggin' like head kick? Is this going to be hammer fist from the ground? What are we talking about here?
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. I think he's just going to hit him with some power and probably put him out there. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
But who knows? What do you got, Zach?
I mean, dude, it's hard to say because Cowboy, like you look at his last fights, besides Anthony Pettis, the guys he's lost to, Gagey, Ferguson, I guess you can put McGregor in there too. Like they're some of the best guys in the world.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to tell if it's the level of competition he's facing and that's why he lost, or if his chin is just completely shot. I think that he's taken a lot of damage in his last. Before the Pettis fight wasn't as bad, but those other three, like he took some serious hits, and I don't know if his chin is gone. And if that's the case, then I don't think he's gonna last a long time in there with Price because Price is a wild man. He's got power, and he's got a chin, and he's younger. And he's got all the advantages there. I mean, but then every time I think Cerrone's out, then he goes on some crazy tear. So my mind's telling me to pick Price. I agree with you. I think that Cerrone, he's obviously not the same. He's aging, but it's hard to say if his chin's totally gone or not yet. But the safe pick, in my opinion, like you said, is Price. But I'm hoping it's a wild fight. I'm hoping it's not a first round knockout because I want to see a good fight.
I think too what worries me about this fight is like Cowboy is a slow starter. Like he's one of the slowest starters I've ever seen. And Nico Price gets shot out of a cannon. So while I do agree with Kev's prediction, the first round knockout, which I can totally see, I want to see an absolute war. And I think like Price is the perfect opponent for Cerrone to like have that vintage war again. But I don't think he's going to get it done. I think it's going to be Nico Price, late knockout. And I think it's going to be like a brutal one. Like one where like Cerrone's like out cold and it's going to be a scary one. And then I think he's going to retire after this because that'll be 5 losses in a row. He's done everything in the sport. You can't really ask too much for him. So, but I think it's going to be like fight of the night and it's going to end with knockout of the night by Nico Price. It's going to be a wild one. So that one, another one, you don't want to miss this one. So, that's gonna be so fun. Someone's going to the hospital. It's probably gonna be Cerrone, and I'm gonna cry. But whatever. Main event time. This is the one. How long has this been in the works? A couple of years. We got Colby Covington taking on Tyron Woodley, welterweight grudge match. I mean, Tyron Woodley, former champion, 4 title defenses. Right? Everyone kind of thought this guy was invincible. Kamaru Usman came in there, took his belt. Woodley hasn't been the same since. Back-to-back losses. We got Kamaru Usman and then really losing in similar style to Gilbert Burns. Put the pressure on, put Tyron up against the cage, and Tyron was just gun-shy. You saw in both of those fights, he really just couldn't let his hands go and do what he does best, and that's knock the fuck out of people. And then we got Colby Covington, who was on an absolute tear in the UFC. He was on let's look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight win streak, dominates Robbie Lawler to get the title fight versus Usman. And then he ends up losing versus Kamaru, 5th round TKO, right? I know it was a little bit of controversy there at the end. Could have, was it called too early? I don't think it would have mattered. I think Usman would have got the nod anyway, because I think that was a 10-8 round. So, but Usman has the perfect style to beat Tyron, just like Kamaru, just like Gilbert Burns. So curious to see what do you guys think about this one, because these two hate each other. There's a press conference on Thursday. That's going to be so fun. But what do you guys think of this, and what are your predictions?
Yeah, this is a fight that both of them kind of need to win because Colby's coming off that loss to Usman. Gilbert Burns just beat Woodley, so it seems like he's next in line for the belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Burns, and then there's Leon Edwards that's in the mix too. So either one of them lose this fight, they kind of lose their position, their proximity to the title, I guess. But in terms of who I think is going to win this fight, based off of how Woodley's looked in his past two fights, and even before that, he's had some like really boring decision.
Like the Maya fight.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Covington. I think his endurance, the pace that he puts out. I don't think he's going to hit him with like any power shots, but I think his output's going to be a lot higher. I don't know if he's going to score takedowns, but I think he's just going to be the more active fighter and probably win a decision.
Do you think it's gonna be similar to like the Robbie Lawler fight with Colby? Just like not letting Robbie do anything, and it's just constant, just against the cage pressure, like takedown attempts. Like
I think he's gonna kind of do exactly what Usman did and Burns did. He might not have the same success with the takedowns, but I think he's just gonna pressure him up against the cage, fight in the clinch a little bit, and then when the fight's in the middle, I feel like he's just gonna let off more punches, be a lot more active, and keep Woodley on his heels. Because if Woodley plants his feet and lands a punch, it could be, end of the night. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I completely agree with Kevin. I think that Woodley's definitely lost a lot of. Well, it seems to me he's lost that fire. He's been just backing himself onto the fence and getting smothered. And I think that Covington's style is very similar to Usman and Big Burns. And he just hasn't done anything in his past two fights. Yeah. And Colby's just known for that volume. So same thing. I would predict Covington decision. I mean, unless he gets caught with Woodley throwing a bomb off the fence, I think that he's gonna come out and just get held up there. So we'll see. But I would definitely say I'm gonna go Covington decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the odd man out. I'm going Woodley. I think he's gonna knock Colby out. I think it's gonna be crazy. He's wanted this fight for so long, and Colby's been talking all this shit. I don't know if they made up stories. Colby saying he worked Tyron when he first came to ATT. He's knocked out Woodley in practice before, all this stuff. So I think now's the time to nut up or shut up. I think we're gonna see a different Tyron. I think he's gonna come out swinging. I think
the grudge match is gonna make him more aggressive.
That's what I'm thinking. I think that he has like something to fight for now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the Usman fight, I don't know what happened there. The Gil Burns fight, I think he just got gun shy. His coach said it. He goes, you get to a point where you just don't want to rip a man's head off anymore. But this fight, I think it's going to bring it out of him. Like all the shit that's been said about him, Colby calling him Tyquill, Woodley, like all these names the stories he's made up. I think we're going to see Tyron just Robbie Lawler him. I think it's, like what he did to Robbie in that first fight. I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be a first round knockout. I think he's going to like shock a lot of people. And then we'll see. Maybe he'll get his rematch with Usman if Usman gets through Gilbert. I don't know. But I'm not saying he's making another run or anything like that, but I think this is going to be for him. He could even, drop the gloves down in the middle of the octagon come Saturday night because he did what he wanted to do, and then he walks away. But I just think –
that's a good point. In terms of his future, dude, no matter what say he wins this fight, nobody wants to see him immediately rematch Usman or Burns because he got dominated so bad. I don't think they would give him another fight like that.
Yeah, so it makes sense. Maybe he took this fight because it's like, I'm going to either win this one or lose this one, and I'm going to walk away because it's either going to be 3 losses in a row, or I'm going to get to beat the shit out of the person I hate most. And then why not finish your career with that? But again, obviously, I'm still scared of him just not being able to let his hands go. He keeps telling the fans, he goes, trust me, I'm going to let them go. I'm going to knock this guy out. And I believe him. I think we're going to see a first-round knockout. I think we're going to see Colby. I mean, when I look at, if you look at Colby's fights with Damian Maia was piecing Colby up on the feet. Nothing crazy. Like, obviously, Damian Maia doesn't have this crazy power. But Damian Maia was piecing up Colby, busting his face up. Think about one shot from Tyron Woodley, what that's going to do to Colby. And, like, Usman piecing up Colby on the feet. I don't know. I see it happening. I want it to happen. I like Colby. I like Tyron, but I just think there's more on the line for this one for Tyron. And Colby obviously wants to get back to that belt, but I think this is Tyron's time right now. I think we're going to see a devastating knockout. Round 1, it's going to be crazy. Does anyone agree with me?
Well, if that doesn't work out for him, if he comes out fast, he used to gas out early in his career. If he does that, that's gonna work right in Colby's favor, you know.
Well, that's the other thing. I think, yeah, he doesn't want to blow his load too quick, but I don't know, man. I just, from what his coaches have said, everyone around him, I think he's ready. I think everything's on the line for him. So I just want to see a good fight too. I would love to see a knockout, but if Colby dominates him, obviously I would love to see like that kind of fight. And then I think either way, he might just put the gloves down and retire regardless. So we'll see. But UFC Vegas 11, massive fight card. This is a free fight card, ESPN Plus. Make sure you go watch it. Any other news, boys? Anything we heard? We know we already talked about Nick Diaz coming back. We get the whole Conor McGregor thing that came out. I don't know if it's true or not. And then tweets came out saying he's depressed and on suicide watch, all this stuff. So I don't know what was going on there, but hopefully all that's fake. But anything else?
Yeah, I think I saw Poirier. He had to pull out of the Ferguson fight.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they
I
wouldn't.
heard it was off. I didn't hear why. Did they say why it was done?
He didn't get the money he wanted. So Tony actually tweeted today at the UFC being like, pay the man. Let's get the people what they want. Like, it was actually pretty awesome. So what I'm thinking, right? Dana said last Saturday after the Waterson fight, the fights, we can't salvage it. That's done. We're looking for new opponents for Tony. Why not just throw Chandler in there? Let's do Chandler, Tony Ferguson, and just say, fuck it. Like, imagine Michael Chandler just getting thrown to Tony Ferguson in his first fight.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But I feel bad. I mean, how far off, do you think they are with making that fight with Poirier? Like he's given them so many good fights over.
Yeah.
Like even just his last fight against
Hooker.
Hooker. That was like one of the fights of the year. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
how can you not pay him?
Numbers wise, obviously, like that didn't come out. It probably will come out eventually, but I don't know. We obviously have this problem now in the UFC with like everyone complaining about money, and now this is about to rob a fight of the friggin' decade right here.
Well, it's a huge part of that card too. Like that whole card is insane, and that's one of the fights on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tony advocated to the UFC to pay him up. I'm assuming Tony's side was pretty good, which is why, I think it couldn't get it done on Dustin's side, but hopefully they can get it done. And this is just kind of Dana just talking and Dustin just kind of settling, not settling. And then hopefully look what happened to Jorge Masvidal. He got the money he wanted. We saw a fight there, but yeah, I don't know if this doesn't work out. It looks like Tony's still going to be on the card regardless. Who do you want to see him fight? Because, obviously, he doesn't want to fight down, I guess. But, like, you got guys like Hooker there. Like, who would you want to see him fight if the Poirier deal can't get done?
I don't know. I think those are, like, the best 4 fighters in that division right now. And, like, having them all on the same card, Gaethje, Khabib, Ferguson, and Poirier, that you can't beat it. I don't know who else you would put in Poirier's spot.
Chandler.
The Hooker would be interesting in there.
Yeah. Well,
But
Charles Oliveira has been pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Oliveira just had to pull out of he was supposed to fight. Who the hell was he just supposed to fight? It was Beneil Dariush. He just pulled out. That fight's not going to happen. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't want to see Tony versus anyone out of the top 5. Like even like the Hooker fight, I think Hooker took way too much damage in his last fight to be fighting Tony Ferguson in October. Like I just don't see that being like the right fight for Dan Hooker. You know what I mean? He just came off an absolute war with even like Dustin. Like I don't know. I really don't want anyone other than Dustin or Michael Chandler, of course, because I think
it comes out of nowhere, saves the card.
You imagine?
But he wouldn't take a. Is that co-main?
That would be the co-main. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he would do a co-main spot. But
yeah, I mean,
sucks, man.
I don't know. Nothing.
You guys think they're actually not going to rebook it though? They're probably rebook it.
Well, Dana said that Tony's still on that card, and they're looking for other opponents right now. So Tony's still going to be on there regardless. It's just whoever, I don't know who the opponent's going to be. If I'm Tony, why would you take a Paul Felder or let's just say L.I. Quinter? You know what I mean? Like, why would you take that fight and risk it? Like, dude, I saw someone today on MMA Twitter go, all right, hear me out. Tony Ferguson, Nick Diaz. Imagine that. and I thought about it for a second. It's like, all right, if Tony, it's a pretty good tune-up fight for Tony. He can get a good win, whatever. But imagine if Nick Diaz wins that. Then he's in contention for the belt, right? I don't know. I thought it was a crazy tweet, but then I looked more into it, and I was like, wow, that would have been an awesome fight.
Is Nick Diaz even in fighting shape?
Dude, he posted pictures yesterday. He looks good. He looks like he's in shape, but the Diaz brothers are always doing triathlons and all that stuff.
Dude, his interview that he did with Ariel, was so, like,
dude, it was crazy.
He could not comprehend anything out of it. Like, I can't picture him being like in
ready to fight someone.
Yeah, like I don't know. Especially after all this time being out of the sport.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's still training, but there is something to actually being in the octagon and fighting and being active. So,
well, you know what? Maybe Nate can step up and fight Tony. I think that'd be a hell of a fight too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be a good fight. I don't think Nate will drop down to lightweight again, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, regardless, hopefully they find an opponent for Tony. Obviously, anyone that he fights, it's going to be fun. I'm going to watch it. Pumped about that. But anything else? What do we got?
Tony's a wild man. He'll take. I know that we don't think it's worth it for him to fight anybody outside the top 5. But dude, he fought Justin Gaethje and risked everything. Dude, he's gonna take a fight. It's not like he's gonna not fight
someone. No, it is true. He did risk everything for that Gaethje fight, and obviously we know what happened there. It's just crazy that we're gonna see another fight card where it's Khabib in the main event, Tony in the co-main, and they're not fighting each other. Like, that makes me so sad. Like, again, this is happening.
I know.
But we'll see what happens. Regardless, that fight card in October, I can't wait to review that one because that's like every single fight is just so good. Obviously, that's a pay-per-view. I believe that's end of October. So, all right, boys, good shit. Listen, hit that subscribe button. We're growing, getting better content. Listen, you need merch, click the link below. Go to our Teespring site. Go support the boys. We need CBD, Trifecta Meals, Venom products. Click the link below. Go support the Flatline boys so we can grow and give you guys better, bigger content. And until next time, Flatline MMA. Peace.